is where the drama starts. Lap 30, 8 laps to go. Sam Dobie hoping to take advantage of these lapped cars. Poleski dives onto the right side, very aggressive here. This is lap 4. The two Viceroys, Bill Frazier ahead of Matt Poleski. Frazier's off. Frazier hit the grass. You hit that tire wall, your day is done. You know, it's lap 20. The Williams still trying to get around the Terrell team as he'll go around the left car and around Mills at the same time. At the same time, he's got the inside corner. Will he ride the curb? Yes, he will. He will get him on the inside. Nuna Maria leading us all into Moss's corner. Look at the beauty as his right side will cook the grass. Oh, a 180, no, a 360. Oh. Who will yield going into this corner? It's really not meant for too wide as it will be Gernald. Gernald will yield. Lots of smoke picking up from that Williams car. He is pushing it to the absolute limit. 26 of 30 now. Only 4 laps to go. He's going to get the run coming out the final corner. He's going to pull up side by side with the leader. It's going to be a drag race to the finish. Who is going to get there first? It's going to be...
Matt Wood has been unable to outpace Prix at any of the Saturday races the two have both showed up for. With the UK&I driver desperately chasing the Austrian for the championship, his hopes now rest on this final round. Laguna Seca's ups and downs will decide which of those two directions will end the season for Wood. But at the same time, Prix is eager to once again prove why he is considered one of the top drivers in this car by claiming yet another title. Whose will is greater? We'll find out soon as we get ready to watch round 12 of the Lotus 79 Classic Teams Championship. And you'll see it all live here on the Global SimRacing Channel. Hi, I'm Joe Peak, and with me in the booth is former real-world IndyCar driver Richie Hearn. Behind the scenes is our director, the Dr. Amjad Yaman, and he's using cameras provided by Dougie Beard. Richie, we're out to your neck of the woods with Laguna Seca, so tell us about the track.
Yeah, thank you, Joe. And here we are at beautiful Laguna Seca in Central California. It's a really awesome track, beautiful part of the country as well. I've never driven this car here, but I have driven here many times in real life, and it is a lot of fun. It's tough to pass, but there are some opportunities. Obviously, we have the famous corkscrew, which is very unique to any track in the world, so that should be fun to drive. But like I said, we got some good passing opportunities, but it is tight and flowing, especially coming off of that last corner, turn 11 onto the front straightaway. So getting the power down is going to be premium for these guys. But probably the best way to get a look at this track is to jump on board that GSRC lap guide.
All right, we've got Juhan Noralampi and the GSRC Lotus 79, so let's do a lap around Laguna Seca. Coming over the crest of turn 1, you'll be flat out and just drifted off to the right to line up for the Andretti hairpin. Heavy braking into here means it'll be a popular passing spot, and drivers will be desperate for chances with this track being notoriously difficult for overtakes. As you come off the corner, it's a short jump over to turn 3, which tends to catch a lot of drivers out with its tightening exit. After that is the fearsome turn 4, and despite the ground effects on the 79, you still need a lift through here. Finally, you get a little break, and as you approach turn 5, this is another place where drivers might have a go at getting by their competitors. However, the car really compresses through here, and it's critical to get a good run out of it. Turn 6 is going to really test everyone's mettle, and expect more than a few drivers to throw away their race in this dangerously fast kink. Still climbing up the hill, this blind crest covers up the view of one of the most feared corners in racing, the corkscrew. Hitting your marks through here is tough for even the most talented drivers. Heading back downhill now, you'll want a late apex rainy curve. Then, as soon as you can, swing it across the track to set it for turn 10. There's lots of banking here, and that can help you carry your speed, so use it to your advantage. Finally, there's the final hairpin, which breeds plenty of last lap showdowns. Aggressive drivers will send it in deep, and wily drivers will be focusing on a good corner exit. Hopefully you kept it all together and have now finished a lap around Laguna Seca.
There you see a lap around officially WeatherTech Raceway, Laguna Seca. Now, let's take a look at the points. As I mentioned, the championship fight is still on for the top spot, but it is going to be a lot to overcome for Matt Wood. That doesn't mean that it is impossible. Really, those two have been in a bit of a class of their own this season. The gap back to Adam Frazier there in third is pretty big. He's relatively close to Steve Bycroft, so there could still be a switch in the podium positions and the championship standings. Let's take a look at the team standings, though, there, Richie.
Yeah, let's bring up those team championship standings here, as this is the classic team championship. So there are some awards for this. As you can see, Martini Racing Team Lotus out in front. 44 points up, pretty good, healthy margin, but you never know. You never know who shows up and who's going to have a good day. We got Akip Renault Elf in second place there. And right behind them, though, that battle for second spot is right up going to the last event with Scuderia Ferrari. In fourth spot, we have Saudi Arabia Williams, and only 1 point up on fifth spot is Marlboro Team McLaren. So we'll see a kind of a final mix-up here after this event.
Yeah, pretty tight there coming into the last round between those five, except for the leader, unfortunately. So let's take a look at the race details as well. We are in the final round, as we mentioned. Now, the drop weeks do come into play. However, for Gernot Frisch, he is actually going to be out of drop weeks if he would have missed today, but he is here still. He can't really afford to have too bad of a race. They also have 2 drop weeks for the teams. This is a 34-lap race today, and that might sound like a lot of laps, but they go around this place very fast. They have an incident limit, which can rack up, especially in the corkscrew. Getting just little off tracks here and there, and they use the official iRacing points. So that is estimated is calculated rather, based on everybody's iRating, how the points are doled out each race. We've got qualifying going. Right now, Nicola Cocci is provisionally on the pole. We've yet to see a lap from Frisch, who's just crossing right now. And that was his out lap, it looks like. So he's only getting started. Still got plenty of time. I had mentioned they come around here very fast. 1:13 currently the top times that we are looking at. So that is incredibly rapid. You talked about some of the challenges around here, Richie, and one of the things that I always note about this place, any car we come here in, is those big orange curbs at the apex. Is that going to be a big worry with these cars? For usually they don't like tall curbs.
Yeah, as you see, as he comes through turn 11, you can see those big sausage curbs. And yeah, you don't want to hit those because they're definitely trying to keep you off that part of the track. The rest of the curbing, though, is pretty flat, as the track was built for or set up for MotoGP, as they have pretty strict requirements on their curb heights. But they put those sausage curbs there on the inside, which are painted red. And, if you hit those wrong, it could actually damage your front wing, as these cars sit fairly low to the ground.
Juha Noralampi coming in. He's not in the championship, but he's been one of our winners so far this season, and he is on pole with his second lap, a 1:12.7. Frisch is just coming around to finish his first lap. Matt Wood sits on the front row. So let's see where... Oh, and actually, Gernot just came across. Excuse me, I lost him as he finished. He puts it just behind him in third. Wow, he's only 21 hundredths of a second off of Wood right now. 2 100ths of a second off of Matt Wood. So Gernot is keeping it close here for the finale.
Yeah, Juha putting in another great qualifying lap. He's been hot the last 3 or 4 races. Didn't have a great start to the season, but the last 3 or 4 races, he's either won or been right there. And I think that, if he would have started a little stronger, we might be talking a little bit differently on this battle for the championship.
Watch Tommy Unhola finish that second lap at a 1:14.6. That's only going to put him in 12th, unfortunately. So here comes Gernot, second time around. And already you can see the damage that you were talking about, Richie. Just a little bit of a bend on the left front wing. His second lap did not go faster. I wonder if that wing had anything to do with it.
Yeah, I mean, even if you didn't, arrow-wise, hitting that curb really throws the car offline, and it's definitely not the fastest way around. But Gernot's not going to be on that front row. It's been a while since he has not been, so he's got a little bit of a challenge. Starting on that second row, very unique starting grid here too. As the straight, it's actually an uphill start. And so, and it kind of bends right into turn one. So it's going to be interesting to see how they stack up and filter into that really tight left-hand hairpin after down the hill from the start.
On board with Sergio Fernandez, typically a little bit farther up the field, but he missed his first lap, had an off track somewhere, and a nice little onboard down through the plunging corkscrew. And then out of rainy curve, he's got just enough time to get this second one in. Hopefully no off tracks this time around. He's staying with it, so he seems to think that he's at least going to have it count. Down to the line, we've got only 3 other cars that haven't set a time, and that is only going to be 3 because he's now bumped himself up to P5, and that is all of our grid set. So let's go through the final starting grid of the season. Juha Norlampi looking to finish things out to get himself another win, with Matt Wood currently sitting in a good position to try and outrun Gernot Frisch, but will the points be enough to overtake him, because Frisch right behind him in third on the second row. Nicola Cocci starts P4 with Sergio Fernandez coming in on his last lap to get himself into fifth. Alex Millward, don't forget about him. He's been very, very fast. He'll start from 6th position. Good move up. Kendrick Taylor will be 7th with Pablo Suarez starting 8th. 5th row has Peter Koneski in the inside and 9th, and John Atkinson Jr. rounding out the top 10.
Starting on that 6th row is going to be John Stevens in the 11th spot. Right next to him, Keith Herner. Starting 13th will be Tommy Unhola, and right next to him, Barry West in the 14th position. Next row back in 15th will be Dustin Herder, and 16th is going to be Daniel Banker. Starting 17th is going to be Danielle Gutuzzo, and 18th will be Robert Simpkins. 19th, John Fabricante, and 20th will be Steve Sarlis. 21st will be Todd Herner, and then we got a few drivers who did not put a lap in. Brent Bartholomew, Duncan McClellan, and Ray Prema in 23rd.
24 car field. No split today, interestingly, so we're going to have a mix of speeds just to add to the difficulty in dealing with the traffic out there, lapping cars. Maybe that could throw a wrench in things. Everybody already getting out to the grid, waiting on a few of our front runners to work their way out there. A little bit of a kink, and then everybody's going to bunch up down into the Andretti hairpin. Sometimes we've seen at the starts of races, there is a bit of chaos coming into there. Hopefully we don't have any drivers find themselves out of the race that early. First lap, second corner. Looking at Matt Wood. Currently, I believe that's Nicola Cocci actually that we're looking at down there, lined up on the outside towards the front of the fields. There's the good view of that uphill that Richie was talking about. See it dropping away towards the back. Thankfully, cars will not go around that final corner in this standing start. That would be a certain nightmare for a few of these guys. Just have Gernot Frisch and Bartholomew that need to make their way to the grid, and we can go racing for round 12. Gernot is out, waiting on Brent to find his way, and it looks like he's going to start from pit lane as the lights start to come up, engines start to rev. Green flag is out here at Laguna Seca. Norlampi with a great start, but a horrible start for third place Gernot Frisch, who drops back, almost loses another position to Cocci, but fends off the inside as they now work their way into the first hairpin. And so far, so good. No, we've got one off. That is Steve Sarles in the kitty litter.
Yeah, it's an important start for Matt Wood. He really needs to stay in front of Gernot, and he really needs Gernot to have a little bit of a bad luck. He's got quite a hefty gap, but he's done everything he could so far. Good start from that front row, staying in front. And so far, so good as they head up towards turn 6 and then really steeply up the hill. You don't get a real good idea of how steep it is on the shot here on the TV, but heading towards the corkscrew.
First time into this famous corner. Hopefully everybody makes it through here safely as well. Everybody bunching up. So far, no incidents that I'm seeing. A little bit of a touch in the very back between Gattuso and Banker, but everyone is through.
And they've already come around to complete lap 1. So laps are going by quickly. So far, so good in the top half of the field. Kind of single file. It's it's going to be tough to pass here. The track kind of moves and weaves back and forth. There is room, but it's really hard to kind of get that position. So I think might see a little bit of a procession early on in this event.
Speaking of a procession, looks like Peter Konecki turned around. John Stevens was off track. Daniel Banker as well involved in that. This was all in the Andretti hairpin. Everybody manages to get the cars rolling. This is Peter that we're looking at in the green car. Let's see what happened here.
Yeah, very tough braking section as you're coming very quickly and it drops down steeply. It looks like you just lost the rear a little bit. Little tank slapper and then boom, gets rear-ended by someone not seeing it too soon.
Yeah, this was Banker who got into him. Although I think he couldn't have expected Banker to be that far to the outside. Yeah, he was in a battle, outbraked himself a little bit, and suddenly a car is returning to the track. So this is actually, is this three? Yeah, 3 separate incidents all in the same corner on the same lap.
Yeah, John Stevens comes in a little hot, jumps over the tires, and yep, a lot of people. A little bit of a mess there in Andretti hairpin.
So back up to the front, Nora Loppy leading Wood, but Wood's applying a little bit of pressure, it looks like, to the fin as he stays within half a second.
Yeah, he's closed right on up to him, although Nora Loppy's pulled a little bit in this first sector of the track. This area is like pretty flat, pretty basic, but then they start to climb back up the hill to back to the original part of the track. It has been changed since its original layout, but this is all part of the original part or layout. And you can see how steep they go up the hill, and then they're about to drop back down into that corkscrew.
Yeah, I was a little young for the old layout. It surprised me later on when I saw footage of the old circuit and just how fast it was, basically bypassing all that flat portion that you mentioned. Coming to complete another lap. Prix is staying about a second behind Matt Wood. And then you've got a gap to Fernandez in 4th. The first real battle we've been having these past couple laps is between Kochi and Millward. They were side by side last time through into the hairpin. I don't think Alex is close enough this time by.
No, he's not quite close enough, but he's right on the tail of his gearbox. So they come through the Andretti hairpin into turn 3. This is a very tricky corner. It's so flat and kind of deceiving how much you have to slow down for. The next corner here is really pretty much almost flat out. You can get a good run. And then up into turn 5, which is, a decent passing spot. And then back up the hill towards turn 6.
Yeah, I was curious if 5 would offer that. With how much downforce these cars have, didn't seem like they would. Keith Herner, though, as we see on screen, with a bent rear wing, made contact with something. That would be Unhola, and then eventually the wall.
Yeah, going through turn 4 there. Clipping Unhola and then backs it in.
Looks like he just got a little slowed up. Or no, Unhola got a run, put him offline. There was a good view from above and just tipped him around.
Yeah, it doesn't look like he made any contact. I think it might have just caught him off guard. Oh, maybe he did get some contact right there.
Yeah, I think it was net code, unfortunately. From that onboard, it looked like it was far away. That was, who was that getting by him there? That was Roeder taking 11th place away. He is actually still in front of Unhola currently. You can see on screen he's giving chase. He was slowed up a little bit by that touch, allowing Dustin a chance to sneak through before turn 5, where they head through right now, back up the hill. Not many laps have ticked off quite yet, so a lot of racing still to go. Let's check in on P8 up ahead of them, because Suarez and Atkinson are pretty close together. These drivers started just about where they are currently. Not much of a gain. Hoping to maybe make some inroads.
Ooh, and Atkinson hit that sausage curb there, and turn 10 as he clipped it, and it really set him sideways and lost the gap to Suarez. Now he's got Barry West to deal with right behind him.
Where did West qualify in this one? 14th, it looks like, and he's up to 10th. West doing his thing as usual, finding a way to climb forward as we ride on board with Barry, giving chase to John Atkinson. Coming through turn 3, one of the more technical portions of the circuit. Then into 4, where we saw that incident with Unhola a bit ago. Both of them nice and smooth through there, so Barry's going to have to work a little bit harder to get within arm's reach of John Atkinson Jr. Ooh, a nice battle going on between Kochi and Millward still.
Yeah, Millward took a peek on the inside of him going into turn 6, which is pretty much impossible to go through there side by side. So stuck his nose in there and had to lift a little bit, but now he's all over the back of them as they come down the hill. When I was racing the IndyCar, this section right here was just insanely fast, and it was just, you really had to hold on to that steering wheel to keep it going. Very physical track to drive in real life because it's just fast, a lot of downforce, and Millward giving Kochi a little bit of a run for his money at the moment.
He's certainly pushing the car. He had a big squirm coming out of the final corner. He looks strong coming through the Andretti hairpin and staying within about 0.4 of a second. Still another bobble coming off the corner from Millward. Dragging the tires through the dirt slightly, coming off of 4, using every inch of track possible. And he is hassling the Italian just about every inch of this track.
Yeah, this is where he tried to make a move last time, so he's getting a good run out of 5 up into 6. But it is tough to pass once again, so he's going to really have to make a decisive move without having any contact. Long ways to go still.
Talked about how fast this portion is. How much do you actually feel the drop coming down the corkscrew? Is it roller coaster-esque, as like people say, or is it not really that noticeable?
You know, it is, but I tell people you go through it so quick. It's like you just kind of turn and go. You know, it's all about visual. There's a visual mark that you want to hit, and you just drop down, then you just floor it after that. So it's probably the hardest part is the braking, because you come up there and then it kind of flattens off, and then you don't really see the corner till you're in it. So that's probably the trickiest part about the corkscrew.
Let's stay on this because this is our closest fight among the top runners, but I can report that Woods closed in slightly on Norlampi after losing a few tenths. So Kochi, currently who we're looking at, sitting in 5th place, the car ahead, followed by the mostly white car of Alex Millward. Does the wake make it hard to get into a position to try and pass around here? Because it seems like he's kind of stuck at just about the same length back from him. Coming down through the corkscrew. Then through Rainy Curve once more. Much tighter for Millward up to that inside curb. And then it switches back, and Kochi this time taking the apex a little bit cleaner. Coming to complete one more lap and starting lap 9 now.
Yeah, going back to answer your question there, you know, the corners are all pretty medium to high speed, except for the Andretti hairpin there in turn 11, where the aero does come into play. So it is tough to kind of get that run off of people without losing that front end.
Certainly seems like Millward's struggling with it. He's been just hovering back here, trying to do what he can, and we've watched multiple times where the tail of the car starts to look like it's going to get away from him. So he's obviously pushing. Love that view going up the hill, looking at the back of these cars. Oh, what a big slide! He loses it. It turns around. No. Millward manages to keep it from running into anything, and he gets it going, managing to merge back into traffic, losing multiple positions and slotting in 9th. Let's watch him on board.
Yeah.
Maybe just a little touch on the dirt to the outside there.
Yeah, that corner is so tricky. You come in so fast, and you can't really see it because it drops down in, and you really have one line to hit, and then you hit that dip, and it just really rebounds the rear of the car, and then you just go out in the dirt, and then you see what happens. Unfortunately, he's able to keep going, but he does lose quite a few positions.
Let's check in on our leaders real quick, since we haven't looked at them, and they are in that championship fight. Norlampi still leads ahead of Wood by about a second, and then it's another second back to Gernot Frisch. But you mentioned it before, Matt probably needs a few more cars between them to be able to get enough points at that 35-point gap. Unfortunately, we won't be able to know because of the strength of field calculations until after the race how the points are going to be doled out. So we've all got to sit tight to see what is enough.
Yeah, I don't think this is going to be enough, just finishing second to his third. Gernot's just doing what he's got to do. Healthy gap to Sergio, so he's got no pressure. He's just got to stay on the track, and I don't think this is going to be enough.
Let's take a look at P6. Kendrick Taylor heading a couple cars. Pablo Suarez following him. John Atkinson Jr. in there. And then we were watching this person before, Alex Millward, who is very eagerly trying to get through everybody ahead of him to get those spots back. In fact, he's got a great run coming up the hill. He looks to the inside at a late moment. No defense from John Atkinson Jr. and gets the car woed up in time. Alex Millward now back up to 8th position.
Yeah, very nice classic move there. Got the car under control. I don't think John Atkinson gave him much of a fight. Kind of knew probably Alex was a little bit faster, and no reason to risk it at this point.
You can see that is Suarez in the red car chasing the yellow and white of Kendrick Taylor for that P6 up through turn 6, and Taylor looking very unsteady coming through turn 6. Suarez sees it. He starts to close, but it is tricky braking up into the corkscrew. All of them managing it just fine. And then back down through rainy curves. Suarez still keeping the pressure on, keeping about a car length and a half behind. Seeing if he could find some way past that Renault. Maybe the hairpin of the final corner. Just a little bit too far back this time.
Yeah, Kendrick's got a lot of pressure. If he makes one small mistake, he's going to easily lose 3 spots. So he's just going to kind of keep focus, and Suarez is going to have to try to make a move. He might do it right here. He's not quite close enough, but boy, they all stack up with Millward right behind Suarez as well.
Yeah, this is certainly bringing in Millward, who's on the back of Pablo Suarez. Wow, he is really on the back of him. He is almost underneath that rear wing. Could we see a pass into turn 5? He's going to think about it. He's got his nose in, tries to outbrake him. He's got the desired line, guns it off the corner. He's still slightly to the inside. Suarez, is he going to gut it out? Yes, he's going to try it, and eventually he has to give up the ghost.
Yeah, it's almost impossible to do. Good job from both those guys, just not hitting each other, but Alex had that position all along. But Alex is trying hard to get back to that spot. If he can get by Kendrick Taylor, he's going to be right back to where he was before that mistake early on. But great move.
Side-by-side action on screen between Hirota and Unhola. Unhola gets the position away, finally back up to 11th. Remember, he lost that many laps ago early in the race after making contact with, I believe that was Herner that we saw earlier.
Up front, nothing's changed so far. Those 3 have separated themselves from the rest of the field, although Matt Wood is definitely keeping Norlampi honest. He's only 7 tenths behind, but Gernot is right there as well.
He's a couple tenths closer to Norlampi. Still not close enough to really make it anything happen. Let's see if he can continue this trend and maybe get that orange and blue car within striking distance. Not even halfway through the race quite yet. Do you think Gernot Frisch is just kind of playing this cool to sit back and let the championship come to him? Or do you think this is genuine pace?
He'll probably say that's as fast as he could go, but I doubt that. He's a smart guy, so a smart driver. So, I mean, he might be trying hard, but there's no reason to overdrive it. So he just needs to keep these 2 in in view. He's got, like I say, he's got no pressure behind him, and there's, just why risk it?
That's a good point. We haven't really mentioned that they've pulled away from fourth place by a decent amount. It is 4 seconds back to Sergio Fernandez behind them. There you see him on screen now. Oh, and meanwhile, and Alex Millward just got P6, but make it 7th once more as he puts the pedal down a little too hard. He's still under threat because Suarez had a little bit of a good run coming out of turn 3, but I think Millward's now got it back under control. It looks like that number 7 car has a little bit of hot and bothered driver, the way he's driving currently.
To basically, Kendrick made him go around the outside, and that's really tough to do. You can see he kind of gets in the dirt, and just a little bit of a drift, not quite a spin. Nice job controlling the car, but going to give that position right back.
Yeah, I got to give Alex credit. That was a brilliant save on his part. So, got to redo all that over again. He's still within reach of the Renault. And they are coming up on lap traffic as well. Wonder if that will complicate things. That's going to be Duncan McClellan ahead of them. You could just see flashes of. Didn't take long for Millward to get right back under the gearbox of the number 14.
He's definitely got the pace to be in front of him, but the key is getting in front of him and staying in front of him. Taylor's doing a great job. Just doing just enough to kind of keep him there as they go by a lap car of Duncan.
He's going to stay nicely out of the way of all 4.
Millard's got a nice run coming up into 6 here. No room to make this pass, but if you can get a good run up the hill, here's where you can make that move. He's going to go around the outside, try to make that move. And he looks like he's going to get it. He's going to go around the outside of him, get that spot done.
Gutsy stuff, and it's not over for Taylor. Suarez goes around the outside of Rainy Curve, and he makes it stick. Taylor's getting mobbed, and in fact, he's going to lose all 3 positions. John Atkinson goes by.
Yeah, that pass really threw Taylor's rhythm off as he got swarmed by the other 3 drivers. But here you go, right on the outside. Very tough to do. Taylor kind of just gave it up, let him have it. But at this point, just lost all his rhythm. And really, those other 2 drivers just attacked him right down the hill.
He nearly lost it on his way into the corkscrew. So that has got to be frustrating for the number 14, finding himself at the tail of the train. He was leading less than a lap ago. We are now at halfway. We're 1 lap away from halfway now. Again, this is the problems with me doing math on air. Watching, in the battle for the lead. Suddenly, Matt Wood has come alive, and in fact, he's pulling an over-under coming through the final corner. Nora Lumpy almost tries to squeeze him down. There's traffic there. They come together. That's John Stevens trying to stay out of the way.
Nora Lumpy was using him as a pick, and Matt Wood wasn't having anything of it. Gernot Frisch just kind of watching all this happen in front of him, but wow, that could have been a complete disaster. Matt Wood's going to try to pass him again. He's going to go on the inside here into turn 3, not able to make it happen. So they come into turn 4. Nice, it's pretty much flat out. Next chance is going to be into 5.
The Preacher's got nothing to lose. I don't think the only time I've ever seen a move like that has been in multi-class racing, where you try to maybe force someone into that situation. But Juha using some aggressive tactics on Matt Wood, and what this has done has allowed Gernot Frisch to now have a shot at the win himself as he's come up to the back of these 2.
Yeah, I haven't seen Juha drive that aggressively in a while, and he really just squeezed Matt off and gave him no chance to get on the inside as they almost locked tires coming down towards turn 11, all stacked up together. 1, 2, 3.
Thought I saw even his tires jump at one point. But coming up over the hill, Wood a little far back. He's just going to stay in line. Still a defensive move. Early turn in from Juha Norlampi, covering him off just in case. All this fighting, could this bring Sergio Fernandez back into things? It is cut down to 3.8 seconds. It was 4.5 just a moment ago. So we ride on board with our leader, looking back at our two championship rivals.
They've all settled down a little bit. Yeah, Sergio all of a sudden was closing on in, but these three have settled up and started pulling away. But Sergio's back there. If these three step on each other, he might be in a position for at least a podium.
More lap traffic coming up. Todd Herner ahead of them. Last time it was used when a pass was attempted. There's not seeing anything like that now, so shouldn't be as much drama, we think. Up to the last corner. Norlampi sizing him up. Herner knows it. He sees everybody. He pulls off to the side, and the leaders go through.
Yeah, no pick play on that time, but it's definitely keeping everybody stacked up together. Norlampi at one point was kind of cruising with a good healthy gap, and now all of a sudden he's got to work hard to stay in front.
It is relatively hot here today. It's 105 degrees on track. Are there enough heavy load corners that the tires could start to go away from you if you abuse them?
These cars the tires seem to be pretty durable. I don't think that's going to be a problem for these guys. The fuel burns off and the car gets a little bit better to handle, so I don't see that being an issue today.
That'll be good news for Norlampi. He continues to lead the trio down through the corkscrew. Up next for them going to be Steve Sarles, sitting in 17th. I'm surprised we haven't seen more cars lapped so far in this race. Of course, there's still quite a few laps yet to go. Oh, and Sarles completely off track. He's just going to remain there. Is conveniently going to let them through. Unfortunately, it was a bad last corner from Matt Wood, and so Gernot Friesch starts to close, but not enough. They hit the Andretti hairpin, and he's going to have to stay behind, but that gap has now increased up to Norlampi to nearly a second once again.
Yeah, and Gernot has nothing to gain by making a move on Matt. All he needs to do is just keep putting the pressure on him, and maybe Matt makes a mistake, but it has given Norlampi a little bit of a breather as we work lap 20 of 34.
I don't know that it'd be much consolation if he does lose the championship, but if they finish this way, it'll be the first time this season, I believe, that Wood will have beaten Friesch on the track in a Saturday race. Sunday race, excuse me. And I had that in the script too.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of races where Matt has been right behind Gernot, but just never quite fast enough to make that move. This time he actually qualified ahead, got the start, and he's doing a good job holding them off. But his main focus is trying to get in front of Norlampi and get as many points as he can.
Let's take a glance back at 10th now that that's settled down up front. Tommy Unhola and Barry West in a nice little fight. They've left Dustin Hiroter behind as they come through Rainy Curve back down to the bottom of the track to the final corner. West is hassling Unhola. Tommy earlier this season was looking at potential wins, not so much this time, and Barry West making mistakes coming out of the final turn with a lot of wheel spin.
Yeah, it's probably the one spot on this track where getting the power down is paramount, but also difficult. And you can see him light those tires up. He's going to be able to get Tommy Hola back in his sights, but they're not too far away from Kendrick Taylor as well. Ooh, Tommy gets a big slide going into turn 3. It's going to lose some momentum.
Taylor, who we saw lose multiple positions, has been trying to chase down the 3 he was leading, but he's starting to lose touch. So we see him lose yet more spots. There's still laps to go to find that one out in this final round of the Lotus 79 Classic Teams Championship. Unhola hitting the corkscrew once more. And it sounds like things have closed up on the lead once again.
Yeah, Matt Wood's been able to string some laps together, and that gap is gone. So Noah Lampe had a little bit of a breather to catch his breath, but now he's got to start working hard to keep that win, as Matt Wood is doing a great job, just running probably his best race, I think, so far this season.
It's the best time he could ask for to really be on form. So we ride on board. Love getting to watch the drivers at work. Even though it's a sim, we can see those hands, exactly what the drivers are doing in real life on their rig. Looking actually pretty smooth in the cockpit of Matt Wood. You talked about the physicality of this track. When you raced in IndyCar, did they have power steering, or is it like now where they don't have any power steering on the Indy cars?
No, it's a real car without power steering. it literally, like, going through turn after the corkscrew, that turn after the corkscrew was probably the hardest corner on the whole season physically. Like, you just physically couldn't, you had so much downforce, you just couldn't turn the wheel. And, that's the way it should be.
Absolutely. Certainly proves that those drivers are athletes. Say, come up to turn 5 here. And still, they are just about stuck. Wood got to within about 3/10. And now it has gone back to 5/10. Still being watched from the popcorn position in third by Gernot Frisch, our current points leader.
Yeah, I think you're seeing a little bit of what we talked about with the aero wash. He's kind of able to get close, and then he just has to back off. He gets close and backs off. This is about as close as he can really seem to get until Noah Lampe either makes a mistake or maybe some lap traffic, but it seems to hold this gap as he comes into the brakes right behind him. But then you'll see it kind of just spread back out.
We've seen at least one attempt so far from Matt to overtake Juha for the lead. Didn't work out, and it got incredibly tense. Looks good under braking down into Andretti, getting to within a few car lengths. And they're starting to drop Frisch slightly.
Yeah, Frisch is probably just sitting back and watching them race that hard. He doesn't need to be caught up into their mess, and he has no pressure really from behind.
They're coming up quickly to Robert Simpkins, who's running in 16th, to lap him. Depending on where they catch him, this could be a problem. Hopefully they won't be able to get him until the front stretch, which would be a nice open area for them to try and get by, but they are coming incredibly quickly.
Yeah, and it's not just Robert Simpkins, but there's Daniel Banker as well. So they're going to catch them here going up the hill. He's not close enough, though, so this might create a little bit of a problem for the Preacher, as they're going to catch them in a little bit more of the technical part of the track.
Certainly, and even though Simpkins not in a direct fight right now, obviously he doesn't want to give up too much time to try and chase down Banker. Now you can see that they are right on the back of him. Doesn't let up here before turn 4. Maybe have an opportunity before turn 5. Stays off the racing line. Nicely done by Robert Simpkins. 1 gets by, 2 gets by. Oh, and just puts Gernot Frisch offline.
Yeah, that was cleanly done. Nicely done by Simpkins, just kind of getting out of the way as much as he can. Now Daniel Banker is going to be in the sights of the Preacher as they go through the corkscrew one more time.
I'm seeing little collections of dirt start to appear at the side of the track on a few of these corners. I know in real life it's sort of known for dust collecting and getting everywhere. Is it pretty tough? Is it accurate in the sim with the drivers kicking dirt onto bits and having to watch out for that?
Not as accurate as you would think it would be. I mean, it's there, but it's not like real life where if you get in the dirt, it's full-blown marbles as, man, Juha's got to go around him on the inside of Andretti. It's going to bring Matt Wood right up to the back of Juha.
And once again, Frisch gets the worst of it and winds up losing time. He's now over a second behind Matt Wood. Wood staying with the Preacher with 9 laps to go now. Up and under the bridge through turn 6 one more time. For all that we've been talking about Wood staying with Juha, I mean, credit to the Finn for managing to withstand this pressure. We haven't really seen a whole lot of mistakes from him.
No, actually, I mean, he's been doing a great job. He hasn't really made too many mistakes at all. It's just been just the way they've caught the lap traffic sometimes. Matt has definitely tried to get by him, and the one time he did, Juha was able to use the lap car as a pick to keep him behind.
Meanwhile, we've got something brewing back in 7th place between Suarez and Atkinson Jr. They are also coming up on lap traffic, which is actually having problems. Todd Herner in front of them, going almost completely off course in the corkscrew. Hopefully he should be able to get out of the way of this fight. Yep, he's going to try and pull aside just before the hairpin. Perfectly timed. Suarez and Atkinson are going to be able to get by. Apologies to the midfield and the back of the pack. Not getting nearly as much coverage this race, but with the championship so tight and those drivers all close to each other up at the front, had to give a little bit of love up to them just to see how that played out. But boy, Atkinson starting to gain now on Suarez, closing it within about 2 car lengths as they come up to turn 5. One little mistake from the number 9 car, and Atkinson Jr. is going to be pouncing.
Yeah, this is really the best battle on the track at the moment, as everybody's separated out just enough. Suarez has been under pressure and in a battle pretty much the whole event.
View from above, looking down at the corkscrew. Both of them plunging down the hill and around Rainy Curve. Oh, and did we have a pass behind them between West and Heroder? I believe we did. Barry West with a mistake in turn 6 allows Dustin Heroder to get back into 11th place. Here's the replay.
Yeah, Heroder got a really great run, and Barry West, there you go, there's that turn 6, and loses all that momentum. It's just going to open the door for Heroder as they come up to the corkscrew, and Barry just had to give it up.
Dustin pulled up his pants, got brave, and decided to go forward with the pass. He's unfortunately a little too far behind for Unhola unless we see a mistake from Tommy to try and regain his spot from him. 7 laps to go. Unhola up to 10th position, having started in 13th this race. Still probably a little disappointing for Tommy, considering he's had better ones before. Matt Wood responding to Juha Norlampi now with the fastest lap of the race. Oh, and a car spinning off in front of them. That was Konecki.
Yeah, Matt Wood not giving up, making Norlampi earn this win. And he did put the fastest lap in the race, but he's still not quite close enough. You can really see how he tightens up, and then you get to these faster corners, and he's got to back off a little bit as he loses the front end with that aero wash.
These top 3 continue their incredibly quick pace, with the gap to Fernandez now up to 5.7 seconds. So they are under no threat in these remaining laps of the race. Going to be 5 to go at the line. Juha Norlampi certainly having to fight hard to take home this last win. And Gernot Frisch is continuing to apply a little bit of pressure here and there.
Nora Lampy just dropped the fastest lap of the race, so it responds to Matt Wood's pace.
Temperature's been remaining about the same out there, about 103 degrees Fahrenheit on the surface. But actually beautiful temperature for the virtual fan, 70-degree air temperature. Nice season finale here for the Lotus 79 Classic Teams Championship. A little bit of a bobble coming out of turn 6 for Gernot Frisch this time. He manages it well, doesn't lose any time. Wonder if now is when he's finally deciding to push a little bit, see what he can make out of this. Right on board. Let's see the hands.
Nice and smooth. Take that tight left corner. Start going through the gearbox back towards the start-finish line. As we have 4 laps to go.
It is coming down quicker and quicker. Duncan McClellan up ahead for the second time, being lapped, and he's just going to take off track. That looked intentional, just letting everybody through nice and cleanly. And as we've been watching this battle, it still hasn't separated between Suarez and Atkinson Jr. for 7th position, but I think you found a closer one, Richie.
Yeah, Barry West is really on the back of Dustin Heriter. Barry's trying to, he goes right over the sausage curbs into that, on the last corner there, as we see on screen. He was right behind him trying to get back that position he lost earlier. And the gap's opened up, but he was pushing hard. He's got 4 more laps to try to get this back into the top 11.
Barry West is not one I've known to ever say die. He's going to try and take this spot all the way to the checkered flag. We ride on board with Barry, chasing Dustin Heriter. 3 laps to go. He's got a chance at it, but he's going to have to stick with it. And with what we've seen from Dustin, I have to imagine he's going to have to be a little bit aggressive to try and take this one away.
Meanwhile, Nora Lampy has opened up a full second on Matt Wood. I don't know if Matt has made a mistake, but now he's got Gernot all over the back of him.
Now, this is bad news from Matt Wood. I have to imagine at the very least he wants to be able to try and come home ahead of his championship rival. Gernot still stalking him in that number 1 car. Gets awful close coming down through the corkscrew. Maybe a little too close. The car backs away now. Going to be 2 to go at the line. They're coming up on lap traffic in the form of John Stevens. Nicely done by John. All 3 cars cleanly through. Another fastest lap from Juha Norlampi. He has turned the wick up.
I don't think Gernot is really going to try to make any type of a move. He's just going to hassle Matt, make him earn that 2nd spot. Barry West, once again, really on the back of Dustin Heriter as they come down the corkscrew. Oh, it's a little bit wide.
We've been watching from onboard Frisch here as I'm keeping half an eye on the battle you're looking at. I think we got to stay with this being the championship battle. Wood doing everything he can to try and take this championship. Doesn't seem to have the pace for Norlampi. Hoping he can stay ahead of Gernot Frisch. He's now finally got himself a little bit of a gap back to the Austrian. White flag is out. Final lap of the race. Final lap of the season. Norlampi stretched it out to 1.5 seconds. Oh, a little bit wide through the Andretti hairpin. Gernot's not close enough to take advantage. Matt Wood recovers on corner exit. He's got to avoid mistakes like that. Half a lap that he's got to survive. Riding on board, looking back through the rear wing. Going to climb up the hill. He's regained a little ground on the Preacher, about 1.3 seconds now. And Gernot Frisch has looked like he's not making any attempts to try and take the spot, like Richie said. Just hovering behind him. He knows that he's probably got the championship wrapped up in this position. They come around turn 10. One more corner to go for Juha Norlampi. He hasn't been as much the focus here since he's just on this race for the win, but he's going to take that victory in brilliant style. Matt Wood will get second, but it is Gernot Frisch with another championship unofficially here in third place on the podium. Have a fight on the back half of the course between Suarez and Atkinson Jr. has been going on all race long. And I think if it's going to go how it's been going all race long, Suarez has got this one wrapped up through the final corner, and nothing doing for John Atkinson. Suarez is going to take that 7th place. Nicely done by John for 8th. Unhola chases Taylor home, but he's just shy. He's going to have to settle for 10th. Last car on the lead lap is going to be Barry West, still behind Heroder, and that'll take us to break. Stick around, because on screen you're going to see all the upcoming races here on the GSRC. After that, we'll have the driver interviews as well as the unofficial results. Welcome back to WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca, where we just watched the season finale of the Lotus 79 Classic Teams Championship. And though it was not won by either of our championship rivals fighting for the crown, it was still a good one with both of them involved all the way to the checkered flag. Nora Lompe beat them both to the line. Matt Wood about 1 second back when the checkers waved. Gernot Frisch half a second back from him to take third and the championship, with Matt Wood having to settle for both second on the track and in the points. Sergio Fernandez takes fourth, and then it is a huge gap back to fifth place. Nicola Cocci taking P5. Alex Millward behind him in sixth place. Pablo Suarez, we saw his fighting for much of the race, finishing seventh with John Atkinson in eighth. Then it's Kendrick Taylor coming home ninth, and Tommy Unhola rounds out your top 10.
Coming home in 11th is going to be Dustin Herder, as he had a great battle with Barry West there at the end, who finishes 12th. First car lap down is going to be Peter Kaninsky in 13th, Danielle Gutuzzo in 14th, Daniel Binker 15th, Robert Simpkins 16th, Steve Sarles 17th, Todd Herner 18th, Keith Herner 19th, and John Stevenson 20th, 2 laps down.
Then 21st, you've got Duncan McClellan. Ray Prima was a DNF in 22nd. Same thing with John Fabricante and Brent Bartholomew rounding out the field. We have our unofficial champion for season 2 ready to talk to us. Third place on the track, but first place in the points by our calculations. Congratulations, Gernot.
Thanks, Joe. Yeah, it was an exciting season, and finally things went really, really well for me. It was a tough battle with the other fast guys. Juha was crazy fast, especially in the end, and also Matt and Nicola, Alex, and more of these drivers.
Certainly looked tense from our perspective with how close you three stayed all race long. One thing that we noticed, though, is from what we can tell, this was the first time that Matt Wood has beat you on track in the Sunday race. If that's correct, were you just kind of hovering back there to take home the championship, or was that your maximum pace?
It was my maximum pace. I'm not aware that it was the first time that Matt beat me in a Sunday race. He beat me several other times, so yeah, he's just really quick, and this season he's made another step forward, I think. Basically, this race was the championship in a nutshell, with Juha and Matt being so strong. It was a really tough battle.
It seemed like this track made it very difficult to get close enough to attack. Were you struggling with the wake, the arrow from the car ahead, really taking away grip from you?
It's hard to say. I didn't realize it. I think my pace was really good. I didn't really get understeer by the other two cars. On the other hand, it's a track where it's really, really difficult to overtake. And if you just have similar pace, there's basically no way to get by the other cars.
I'm not sure if you know off the top of your head. I certainly don't have the stats with me. How many championships is this for you now in the CTC?
Quite some of them. I can't really remember. Must be something like 14 or 15. I don't know.
Whew. Goodness. Well, you certainly earned it this season. It was tight, but this was an exciting race. And once again, congratulations, sir.
Thanks, Joe. Thanks for doing the race coverage again. This season was good as always. And big congrats to Juha and Matt as well, because they did really well this season.
That was our third place finisher and once again champion. Next up, our winner out on track. Richie is going to talk to the preacher.
Juha, awesome job. Started on pole, finished first. Wasn't an easy race, though. You really had to fight off Matt consistently. Tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, hi, Richie. Well, I was a little bit lacking of concentration, because I knew that this is quite meaningless, this race, because we didn't split again, and I knew that there is slightly tiny possibility that if it could have been splitted, then maybe when I could be winning and Gernot could be third or fourth, then there could be maybe some gap that I could like a miracle to beat him this season, but no, and that doesn't help me to concentrate that race. I knew that I had to pace. I was 2/10 faster about than Matt and other guys, and I just I just race, but my laps were horrible.
Well, I mean, you did end up pushing hard at the end, and I think you set the fastest lap at the race there. But I want to ask you about one point in the race where Matt really got a run up on you on the inside up the front straightaway, but then you had a lap car and kind of used him as a pick there. I didn't think Matt was very happy with that, but I didn't see anything wrong with it. How did you see it?
Well, I got a slowdown penalty at the corkscrew there, and I was struggling to take that off before the line, and that helped Matt to take my side at the last corner, and acceleration from there was similar. And I just look at the mirror, and I tried to push Matt to the inside as possible, and I didn't first notice at all that car, which was lapped car. And when I noticed that, then it was too late, and well, that was maybe it looked like a very dirty thing, but it wasn't my attention. But things happened. But luckily we didn't crash anymore, and I hope that Matt's car was good after that also, as mine was also not big damage.
Yeah, well, if you want my opinion, I didn't see anything wrong with it. It's just part of the racing there, and you got to do everything you can to keep Matt Wood behind you, as he was pushing you consistently. But like I said, right at the end, you're able to gap them and put in some fast laps. So, you said your car wasn't didn't like your car, but it was definitely fast enough to win. So congratulations, Juha, and hopefully we'll see you next season.
Thank you, Richie and Joe and Ahmed. Very good job all the season, and I hope we will see again. And I want to thank everyone at the Lotus 79 community, and also congratulations to Gernot. He was fast and lucky this season. I wasn't, but well, you can't win every time. So have a good weekend, and have a good summer break, and God bless you all. Bye-bye.
And that's our winner, everybody. Juha Noralampi finishing out in style. Joe?
Up next, we've got Nicola Kochi finishing 5th today. Really, the story of your race, Nicola, seemed to be the incredible battle that you were having with Alex for what at the time was 5th.
Hi, guys. Battling here is pretty common, because even if you had a car behind you that is very faster than you, it's not really hard to defend the position. So I think that it was exactly what was happening there. Sergio was faster than me, Alex was faster than me, but for some reason I have a good pace only for qualifying, and all the rest, it was a complete disaster. So I was way off the pace, and I didn't try to fight too much with the Sergio. Honestly, even with Alex, because I even tried to let him pass on the kink, but he was already slowing down, because too wide there is not good anyway. Very hard work to me to stay, not really to stay on track, but the pace was completely off, and I was very far from the podium guys, as not what I wanted.
And speaking of the pace and the handling, we saw that it was pretty hot temperatures on the track surface. Do you tend to have multiple setups at the ready in case it's an unexpected temperature, or do you just kind of have a one size fits all?
No, I just focused to one set, and earlier this year, both Gernot and Juha said that they keep the tire pressure the same, even if it's going to be like extremely cold or extremely hot, and they are not changing anything about the tire pressure. And that was kind of surprising to me. So I just like mimic what they are doing. So I just fixed to my own set. But as you can imagine, if the work that you do in the week is going to be like result in a bad setup for the race, you are screwed. So not really much I could do. Maybe it's depending by my driving or my interpretation of the track or the setup. I don't know. I just completely I have no idea about what it went wrong this run.
Yeah, sometimes that stuff can be hard to tell. One last one before we let you go. Then we've already seen the schedule release for next season. Any track in particular you're looking forward to?
Oh, honestly, I didn't know that, so I don't know which track are going to happen. But I kind of like all the classic track, Spa, Monza, Imola, of course, and all the other old style track as well. But just because it's fun and enjoyable to race there, not because I'm kind of faster there or slower in other tracks. So I just like classic style racing.
I feel you on that. That was Nicola Cochi, 5th place driver today. And I believe we've got Tommy Unhola ready to talk to Richie about his 10th place finish.
Yeah, Tommy, thanks for joining us here. Started 13th, ended up getting a top 10. I'm sure you wanted more, but you had some nice battles going on with some of the other drivers.
Oh yeah, there was good battles, and to be honest, I'm happy with the race today. As well, actually, I just wanted to join this and have fun, and my target was top 20. As I was not even sure if I'm gonna drive. I had under half hour to set up and get ready, and setting up the car took most of that, and I have slept 1 or 2 hours as I was doing Le Mans last night, so I just wanted to join this and have fun. And I was much more competitive than I thought. I was not expecting this, but it's nice. It was fun.
Yeah, if you were expected top 20 and finished top 10, you're definitely happy. And after coming from running Le Mans, definitely glad you joined us here. Do you like this track and car?
Well, I have driven this combination only once, and it's really fun. I didn't have so much time to get into it now. It was around lap 20 when I kind of got hang of it, and I was a bit too careful before that. But I really like the track also, and it's good combination. I would not mind if it was bit more often, but not every season, as it's maybe not best track for these cars.
Yeah, it's definitely a fun track, but I know it's hard to pass out there. But you definitely had a good event, good, decent season there. Thanks for joining us, and hopefully we'll see you at the next season.
Yeah, I'm planning to do next season, and I only got 9 weeks in this time, and hopefully I have a bit more free time next season. And big thank you to you guys for our broadcasts and everything. This is great, and have a good weekend and next week.
Yeah, thank you, Tommy, and that's our 10th place finisher.
Up next, last interview we've got is Barry West, who finished 12th. Barry, you seem to have some fun out there, if maybe a wild time, a time or two. What was it like out on track for you?
Oh, sorry, yeah, it was a good start. First half of the race was fine. Got a good few places off the start. First few laps were going really well. I got up to 10th, I think it was. And then I just got caught back markers at the wrong time, I think. I made a slight error in the last corner, which gave Dustin a run. And then I think he must have made an error because Tommy must have got by. And then Tommy was just a little bit quicker in certain places. And yeah, I just the tyres, whether it's a sand on the track or whether it was the tyres or what, I just lost confidence in the car again. So it's just unfortunate last part of the race. And then I made an error with a few laps to go, which let Dustin pass. And then I was all over the back of him the last couple of laps, and then I got to slow down trying to avoid him into the corkscrew. So yeah, I'm not too happy about the race, but it's a good season. Yeah, still enjoyable though.
It seemed like it was a lot of fun regardless. As a British driver, are you excited about the new Silverstone being the first round next season?
Yeah, that'd be interesting because it's totally different to the old one. I mean, if it's good for racing, I think the old one, people didn't tend to like it, but it used to produce some excellent racing because you've got, choose which way to go because you can have low downforce or high downforce, and the times aren't that much different. So it's got just the right mix of slow and fast corners. So whether the new one is like that, I don't know. It'd be interesting to see whether it gives more overtaking opportunities or not. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
I think we are as well. Well, again, thanks for coming and talking to us. Even though it was a bit of a disappointing race for you, we had fun watching, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Cheers, guys. Thanks for the podcast.
That was Barry West, 12th place today. That's going to wrap up our interviews. So we, of course, want to thank the Lotus 79 community for bringing us back for another season of coverage. And, of course, thanks to the companies that provide the software and hardware for our broadcast listed here on your screen. Additional thanks go to June Lalonde, who provides our wonderful music. See the screen for how to get a hold of more of her great work. Thanks to the team today, Richie, Amjed, and Dougie. If you'd like to find out more about GSRC, including upcoming races, you can find it at globalsimracingchannel.com, or you could check us out on social media. We're on Twitter at GSR Channel, Facebook at Global Sim Racing Channel, and Instagram at GSRC_Graham. Head on over to our YouTube page when you get the opportunity. Make sure and click that big red button that says subscribe so that you don't miss a moment here on the GSRC. As we mentioned, coming back in 2 weeks' time to Silverstone at the new Grand Prix course. That'll be June 16th at 12:30 p.m. Eastern. We also have upcoming races for other series listed on the screen, so check those out and mark them down on your calendar. But until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.